All right, here we go. We're going to start with the Packers against the Steelers. That's what we're going to start with. I will say that today as a whole was a disappointing day. If you like close matchups, well, today is not the day for you. Today was the day of blowouts in the world of the NFL. And quite frankly, the Green Bay Packers, who were on the road against the Steelers, should have been a blowout too. Although Aaron Rodgers was able to collect a garbage touchdown late against the aforementioned Green Bay Packers. But we definitely took care of business. Now, in that first half there's a couple things I want to kind of point out. We kind of spotted the Steelers a couple points there. I don't agree with Matt LaFleur deciding to put Brandon McManus coming off an injury to hit a 57-yard field goal. I don't even like Brandon McManus hitting 57-yard field goals when he's fully healthy. So they get the ball at midfield, obviously score three off that. Was, to me, not a great look. We miss a field goal to kind of close out the half as well. It's only a 45-yarder, so maybe there's a bit of ring rust in there for McManus. He just shanked it a little bit. I guess it happens. Not as pissed off about that one. And I said, you got to start playing for touchdowns. And, well, I guess I was fucking right. Maybe they were fucking listening to me. But let's get right to it. The other thing in the first half I didn't like was necessarily the pass interference call, where Nixon looked like he kind of turned his head around there a little bit, but they called him anyway. Doesn't matter; those things don't matter anymore because the Blue Jays, the Packers, were able to pick up the win. One more thing I didn't really agree with, and maybe it's because I'm a Micah Parsons fan, is the fact that, him and Rashawn Gary on the first sack of the game looked like they both got there. I thought it should have been a half sack each, in my opinion. They ended up giving it to Rashawn Gary. I mean, that's fine. He had two sacks on the day. We were able to get another sack by Micah Parsons, but I think, objectively speaking, it should have been 1.5 sacks apiece. Now, Josh Jacobs needs to be doing better. That's all I'm going to say. He only averaged 2.5 yards per carry tonight on 13 totes. That's not going to get the job done. I get it. Yeah, he got a touchdown for all you fantasy owners of Josh Jacobs, but he was averaging 3.7 yards per carry entering the contest with eight touchdowns. He has to do better than that, honestly. You can't be averaging 3.5 yards a carry. I don't care who you are. That's not going to get the job done. So hopefully he can take care of business moving forward. He has not been very good this year, in my opinion. Who was good tonight for the Packers was Emmanuel Wilson, 61 yards running on 11 carries. And he was receiving pretty damn good, too. 3 receptions for 26 yards. It was nice to see Christian Watson back in the lineup. He had one big catch there, kind of a floater thrown up by Jordan Love. He had 4 receptions, 85 yards. On National Tight Ends Day, you got Tucker Kraft leading the way with 7 receptions, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So clearly the best tight end of the week, bar none. And no, he's not available for trade unless you want to trade an arm and a leg. Jordan Love also tied a Packers franchise record with 20 completions in a row. So he got hot in the second quarter because we were stuck, 16-7 going into the second half there. We scored on 5 out of 6 drives to end the game there. One of them was because we were taking knees. Otherwise, we probably would have scored there. I'll say the Steelers did a couple stupid things in the second half with unnecessary roughness. They pushed the Packers towards midfield on a special teams play. I think it was Nate Herbig just, hitting some fucking guy in the face. And then you got DK Metcalf, on a third. It would have been a 3rd and 2. Turning that into a 3rd and 17 because he wants to try to eye poke a guy. So I'm not really so sure about how the Steelers are in terms of their discipline. It certainly did not show up tonight. But Jordan Love was great, 29 for 37. I mean, he completed 20 passes in a row. His average was way better than Aaron Rodgers, so he averaged 9.7 a throw. And Aaron Rodgers only averaged 6.1, 3 touchdowns to 2. One of Aaron Rodgers' touchdowns was a garbage touchdown, absolutely. QB ratings 134 versus 101. So we took care of business. My big question mark was actually more so on Jordan Love entering this game than Josh Jacobs, and it flipped a little bit. I think Josh Jacobs, if he's got an ailment, maybe he should just take a backseat to Emmanuel Wilson, or maybe that second-year player we got that's coming back real soon. Let's pivot off that game. Just going to take a quick look at the comments here. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Micah Parsons should have 2 half sacks this season that never counted. I do agree. PFF agrees too, but everyone hates PFF these days, so I don't think that means a whole lot in the world of sports right now. Yeah, there was two sacks with Rashawn Gary this year that he should be given credit for, so that'd be 1 more sack. We're gonna talk about sacks shortly when we get to the Cleveland Browns game, but kind of hilarious that Sage guaranteed to me last night that the Bengals would take care of the New York Jets, and Sage was wrong. Now, there was like a drop or something late. Joe Flacco wasn't great today, but he wasn't terrible either. And he had 6.6 yards per throw today, 2 touchdowns. This is one of the only competitive games. 100 rating. Justin Fields, rushed for 30 yards and passed for 244. I thought they were going to play Tyrod Taylor because that's what they said, but apparently they didn't. Breece Hall, of course, he ran well today because he was up against the Bengals and their anemic defense. Rushed for 133 yards on 18 carries with 2 touchdowns. It's a big loss for the Bengals because if they had gone 4-4 today, they would have been in pretty good shape to, potentially win the division. Get almost said fucking Joe Flacco back. Jesus Christ, I already got Joe Flacco. Joe Burrow back here in a month or so, but to me, the Bengals nailed their coffin today. The season's over for them. Trey Hendrickson came out of the game, did not return. That is terrible. I'm sure Sage is extremely happy that the New York Jets got their first win of the year for draft purposes, which we spoke about last night. So I guess good work, New York Jets. You beat the Bengals. Bengals have one of the worst point differentials in the league. If I had known... it's not the game. Wrong game. I was thinking it was the Atlanta Falcons game. We'll get to that game next. The Bears did not take care of business. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns today. Was not overly efficient, though. 3.4 yards per carry. But they did enough to beat the Chicago Bears. So the Chicago Bears fall to 4-3. The Baltimore Ravens are now 2-5. Look for Lamar Jackson to return shortly, probably next week or whenever they play next, and they're probably going to go on a bit of a run. That's a good win for them, a much needed win that keeps them in the fight for sure. Now this is a game I did not know last night when I made my predictions. If I had known Kirk Cousins was going to be the starter for the Atlanta Falcons today, I would have bet against the Falcons, as well as the cover the spread. I thought this was going to be something different. I thought it was going to be Michael Penix playing. It was not. Kirk Cousins looked terrible, honestly. I know he's got an 81 rating, but a 5.6 average per throw. No touchdowns, no interceptions. That's great. Bijan Robinson was fucking terrible today. Fucking 25 yards rushing. Tua was good. He had 4 touchdowns today. This is another win that Sage really likes to see for the Tennessee Titans, because now Miami's 2-6. His shitty ass team in Tennessee's 1-7. So looking at a fucking top 2 pick now, whereas last night I think they were 4th when we went over it. So the Falcons never would have made the pick last night if I had known that fucking Kirk Cousins was starting. Big win for the Dolphins, not, because you're still 2-6, but 34-10. They just kicked the shit out of the Falcons. What can we say? And we're gonna keep talking about, the the shit being kicked out of teams, and we're going to talk about the goddamn Buffalo Bills on the road just handing the Carolina Panthers their first home loss of the season, 40-9. It's not that Josh Allen did anything spectacular. I mean, he only had 168 yards with 108 rating, 1 touchdown. But James Cook went off 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 11.4 yards per fucking carry. So, obviously, James Cook took care of business, and Buffalo improves to 5-2. Still second in the AFC East, though. Take a quick look at the comments here. Mike McDaniel will be back in 2026. I'm not so sure about that, honestly, because I don't agree with that. If they're in a position where their team is bad and they're drafting a quarterback, it does not make sense to pair him with Mike McDaniel. It's the same mistake the Tennessee Titans made last year with Brian Callahan, where they kept him around and they fired him in season. So now Cam Ward is going to go through, 3 offensive coordinators in a year? It's not the right thing to do. If at the end of the year you're changing quarterbacks, you need to bring in a new coach. Now, they owe Tua a big contract, so I'm not sure they're going to be able to get out of that contract, to be honest. So I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. And quite frankly, I don't really care what the Dolphins are doing. They're not really one of my teams. I don't really give a shit. Mike McDaniel is not a good head coach. He had 1 good year and a little bit. He's not a very good head coach. Let's go to the Houston Texans. So Houston improves to 3-4. Not sure they're going to win the division. I'm not sure they'll be in the playoff picture, but I mean, their defense has been great. I did kind of expect them to beat the San Francisco 49ers just because their defense is very good. Most of my worry was with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud had, 2 touchdowns and an interception today. Good for a 106 rating. So he was solid, but the fact he's still turning the ball over, scares me a little bit if I'm a Houston fan, which I'm not. Mac Jones had a turnover as well. Was barely throwing the ball downfield by the looks of it. And they just completely stuffed the run. I mean, there's only 48 total yards for San Francisco rushing. Not going to get the job done. Jackson Dart was okay today, I guess. 193 yards and a touchdown, but they got their asses kicked 38-20 to Philly. They had no running game. Tyrone Tracy's in there. That's great. Looks like Cam Scadaboo is going to be out for at least the next few weeks or the rest of the season. They couldn't really get much going. I mean, Saquon Barkley, 150 yards for the Eagles and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 4 touchdowns without A.J. Brown. None of them going to Devontae Smith, which is kind of weird. The Eagles are top 6 team in the NFL in terms of record, that sort of thing. So definitely thought the Eagles would win. I thought the Giants would keep it closer, but at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit. Next game we got here, and this is going to be kind of shitty in a way. New England beating the Cleveland Browns 32-13. Drake May was pretty damn good. 135.8 rating, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, throwing fucking 12 yards per fucking throw. So he was very good. The thing that's going to get lost a little bit is the fact that Myles Garrett had 5 sacks on the day, which puts him up to 10 on the season, which, is the most in the league for sure. So a wasted effort, I would say, for Myles Garrett. Thought the Browns would keep it closer, and if you told me that Myles Garrett would have 5 sacks, I'd think, okay, they probably would have covered that 7-point spread, but they didn't. Losers 32-13. As expected, I really liked the Bucs on the road against the fucking New Orleans Saints. Sage told me that Baker Mayfield was terrible today, and he was not very good. He's one of the worst quarterbacks we're going to go over. An 80 rating, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Up against Spencer Rattler, who had a 68.8 rating. I'm not really sure what they did to win this game because they only threw for 152 yards and they only rushed for 88 yards as a team, the Tampa Bay Bucks. They must have had a lot of turnovers, and it looks like there was a couple fumbles in there, one that was recovered, and then two lost fumbles by New Orleans, and there must have been a pick or something in here at least as well. There must have been a game of turnovers, I would say. Yeah, Antoine Winfield got a pick. Anthony Nelson got a pick. So you're talking 4 turnovers to 1. That's not going to get the job done. And we'll talk about the Tennessee Titans a little bit. Cam Ward, not very good today, as we kind of expect every fucking week. Not necessarily his fault. Touchdown and interception against the Colts for a 76.5 rating. Daniel Jones was good today, 3 touchdowns. I do expect his luck to fade shortly, but Jonathan Taylor just continues to run like an absolute beast. Was not expecting him to have fucking 12 carries for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Colts are currently the best team in the NFL with a 7-1 record. We'll see how things go as the season continues. I think that you get them on the road. I think for them, getting a bye, having to go through their stadium is going to be a big deal. I don't think Daniel Jones and them are going to be a team that can really function on the road in cold weather. It's just my opinion. But as it currently stands, they're not going to have to go through cold weather, as crazy as it sounds. They got a great team around them, but I'm still not trusting the bug-eyed fuck known as Daniel Jones. And finally, we had a blowout, and this was not a blowout that I was expecting. Dak Prescott, probably the worst quarterback in the league this week. 51.5 rating, 2 interceptions, 188 yards. It's not going to get the job done. Bo Nix was really good today. 4 touchdowns, 247 yards. J.K. Dobbins moved the ball, 111 yards on 15 carries. Denver 6-2. They're currently the big dogs to beat there in the AFC West. I thought it'd be a close game. I actually predicted Dallas to win, and I was horrendously wrong because this was a 44-24 blowout. I don't know what happened. I know that Dallas would let points, but it's not like Denver's been a juggernaut offensively, in my opinion. So to let 44 points, I guess they scored 24. That's okay, but it's kind of terrible for Dallas. Things are starting to fall apart. They're 3-4-1, so I do not think they're going to be a playoff team whatsoever. Now, we kind of did this a little bit last night. We did it a little differently. We did top 10. I want to do top 5 and then bottom 5. So currently in the NFL, you got the Indianapolis Colts 7-1. They're in the AFC, so they're the leader of the AFC, obviously. The Packers improved to 5-1-1. They're the best team in the NFC. Should easily be 6-1, potentially even fucking 7-0, depending on how the Dallas game would have went. I would say, let's just say 6-0-1 is what they should do. Block fucking field goal, whatever. Wasn't meant to be, but we're the second best team in the NFL. Denver and New England and fucking Philly and fucking Tampa Bay all tied for third, but they're the top 6 teams. All have a 6-2 record. Now I want to flip to the bottom 5 because Sage knows this is a lost season for his shitty ass fucking team. So let's just see where the draft would be if the season ended today. And if the season ended today, you'd have the New Orleans Saints picking number 1 because of their lousy 1-7 record, as well as the New York Jets 1-7. They'd be picking number 2. Tennessee'd be picking number 3 with their shitty ass fucking 1-7 record. So we're going to keep an eye on that because there is quarterback implications in the draft that we need to go over, throughout the season. Then you got Cleveland, 4, Miami 5, New York Giants 6. I think the Giants they'll separate from the pack a little bit there, potentially even the Dolphins. So it'll be interesting to see. But Sage, it looks like you're in great position to potentially be number one number one pick and team again. You have a 12.50% winning percentage this year. Isn't that something? That's something to me anyway. Anyways, we got the Jays back tomorrow. We've got one more game in football. It looks like Cam Scadaboo dislocated his ankle, so I'm not sure how long that takes to recover from. But that's all we got. That's all we got for tonight, guys. I'm going to pack her in. We're going to call it now. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Everyone have a good night.